Not gonna lie to you people, there's only one person that I'm looking at for today's loss, and that is the Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino. Some absolutely baffling decisions made before a ball was even kicked, and even some of the in-game decisions, I was certainly not impressed. What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You're here with myself, Guni. After a humiliating 3-1 loss away to West Ham in the London Stadium in what was our second Premier League fixture of the season, we have now only amassed 1 point out of a potential 6. Not a great start to this season, and for me, questions need to be asked about some of the manager's decisions today. But before we get into the content, please do these things for me. Smash the subscribe button if you are new. Give the video a thumbs up as well and leave your thoughts down there in the comments. Are you happy with the team selection that Mauricio Pochettino went with today? Are you happy with the shape that he went with today? Let me know what else you thought about today's game. There's a few things that I've definitely got to get off my chest. The first one is this. Mauricio Pochettino during the pre-season persisted with the 4-2-3-1 lineup, and we looked very good playing it. First game of the season, we go against Liverpool, we go to a back five. That's a little bit more understandable when you put it into context. Liverpool, although they're not quite the finished article just yet, are still a very, very good team with some world-class dangerous options in their squad that we have to do our best to nullify. Fortunately, we did get the 1-1 result against Liverpool. It worked, but today, going over to the London Stadium against West Ham, a game that I was very optimistic going into, and I saw many of you were as well, there was no excuse going with the back five. We should have gone in with the back four, but today the manager did persist with the back five throughout the game. At times we did see the shift to the back four, but even with that, the personnel in that formation in itself still looked quite shaky. And one thing that I've definitely complained about with previous managers is the profiling of players, and we did see a little bit of that today. So let's get into it with the lineups first and foremost. In goal was Robert Sanchez, the centre-back trio of Levi Colwill, Thiago Silva and Axel Disasi, the wing-backs of Ben Chilwell and Malo Gusto, the midfield pivot of Conor Gallagher and Enzo Fernandez, and the front three of Chukwuemeka, Raheem Sterling and Nicholas Jackson. On paper, we can see that this is the back five with the centre-back trio, but at times we did see this formation shift. Ben Chilwell essentially being the left winger, Levi Colwill going into that left back position, and Malo Gusto just slotting into that right back position, Raheem Sterling going out wide, Chukwuemeka just navigating to the middle as that number 10 behind Nicholas Jackson. Now for me, there are several things that are fundamentally wrong here, and first and foremost it is in terms of team personnel. If we had gone with the back four, we still could have had Ben Chilwell as that left back and Levi Colwill in a comfortable position as the left centre back. But instead, we went with this back five, and at times we saw Ben Chilwell going forward as that left winger. And for me, there are definitely more suited players in this squad to be playing in that position outside of Ben Chilwell. This is not taking a knock at the player. I just think it doesn't make much sense to me for that to happen. Levi Colwill did not look comfortable at left back whatsoever. We need to play him in his natural position, which is centre back, and let him develop there. And my other thing is this. The midfield pivot, we know that it's not balanced with Enzo Fernandez and Conor Gallagher. We're away to West Ham, who are a very good team. Let's have it right. They are a decent team. Over the years, they have improved. We can't be taking these men for granted. At least have some balance in that midfield. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, Caicedo was looking a bit rusty when he came on. Clearly, he's not ready to be starting games. I'm not even talking about Caicedo. I'm talking about Andre Santos, a player that we've been using throughout the majority of the pre-season as our deepest lying midfielder, and it did work. Yes, there were mistakes that were made, but he is a young player with a high potential. You play him today next to Enzo Fernandez. Give that midfield a bit of balance. But let's just get straight into the game. After 6 minutes, surprise, surprise, from a set piece, West Ham, they scored a goal. Who would have known? Elite set piece taker, James Ward-Prowse, found a 6'3", 6'4" Aguerd back post, header and in 1-0. Early shock for Chelsea, But very similar to the Liverpool game, we didn't drop our heads. We got ourselves back into the game. Enzo got into the game a lot more. Raheem Sterling had one of the best games that we've seen from him in the Chelsea shirt. Was actually taking on players, beating his man, getting him behind the defensive line and just, you know, putting in them chip balls into the box, into the dangerous areas, trying to find his striker. We're going to talk about Nicholas Jackson as well, about his positioning, why he wasn't there for some of those opportunities. But for Raheem Sterling today, I thought he had a very positive game, excellent game, and I hope he builds on it and the form does continue, because we're going to need this version of Raheem Sterling going forward. This is the type of performances that we're expecting to see from the more senior players like Raheem Sterling, really taking that responsibility of being one of the more older players and showing the young kids how it's done. Today he certainly done that, but unfortunately it was all in vain because we came to an embarrassing loss. But look, after we conceded that goal, we did put on the pressure. We did create chances. We were playing very clever balls in and around the box. Good patterns of play. Nicholas Jackson as well, you know, bursting into that box, creating that opportunity. Well, you know, playing that ball back into Chukwuemeka, who absolutely stood up his defender, man. Just left him in no man's land. Whipped that ball around the keeper. 1-1. Fantastic finish from the young Chukwuemeka, man. Really coming into some form now. Was actually having a good game with the 1-2s that he was playing with his fellow attackers. He really looked good. But it was unfortunate for him. He did get a bad injury. Hopefully he's not going to be out for too long, but it did look bad. It did look bad. He wasn't able to walk on his knee. It might be another knee ligament injury again. We're getting so many of those in football. Me and Lee Gunner actually spoke about it in our previous live, so make sure you go and check that out. But we are unlucky to be losing Chukwuemeka, who looked like he was coming into some good form that we could have used, especially in the absence of Christopher Nkunku. But after he went off, we did dominate the rest of that half. And we look good. I was actually going into the second half. I actually said to my friend, there's no way we're losing this game. We look confident. We're actually retaining possession really well. I know that West Ham don't mind the opposition having possession, but they were really struggling to get the ball from us. Souček at time was chasing ghosts, man. He was just chasing shadows. Enzo Fernandez was picking up from where he left off. Unfortunately, though, Enzo was presented with the opportunity to score a penalty. Raheem Sterling yet again influencing that attack, forcing that foul from the West Ham defender. Enzo Fernandez steps up to take it. Unfortunately, he misses. Now, to the Chelsea fans that are complaining about the encroachment and the player should have, you know, Enzo should have taken the penalty again, I'm not trying to hear that for several reasons. One, a top team does not look at referee decisions to be winning games. You do it out of your own quality. You do it by yourself. Enzo Fernandez should have definitely put the penalty away. If we're being honest, it is a poor penalty. Number two, we were doing enough before that point to really be going 2-3-1 up. If someone like Nkunku was on the pitch, I'm pretty confident we could have come away from that game with a win. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. Now, this is where the Jekyll and Hyde effect came in. I do not know what happened in the second half, but it was a complete shambles. Defensively, we were all over the place. Not just Axel Disasi, not just Levi Colwill, Thiago Silva as well had an absolute shocker back there. Just the goal, man. Just such a pathetic goal to concede. Very similar to the first one. Just the switch off of concentration. In fact, you know what? That's actually the wrong thing to say. Levi Colwill was muscled off the ball so easily. So easily by Antonio, who we know that's his game, that's his bread and butter. And it's not just him, he bullied all three of them. Axel Disasi had a disaster today. Absolute disaster today. Off the back of what he did against Liverpool today was definitely not good enough. Thiago Silva, for me, didn't exactly, you know, maybe age is starting to come up with Thiago Silva, unfortunately. I know it's an uncomfortable conversation, but he didn't look great today. And neither did Levi Colwill, and we concede such a cheap goal, man. Antonio makes it 2-1, and at this point, it's just not looking good. West Ham, you know, they're just putting men behind the ball, trying to protect their lead. We're still trying to dominate possession, but just not as well as we were in the first half. That penalty miss clearly affected Enzo Fernandez, man. The performance just went to shit from there. And then, you know, a little ray of sunshine came through. Aguerd gets a second yellow card for a foul on Nicholas Jackson, rightly so. But, you see, when they went down to 10 men, I had absolutely no faith that we were going to get a goal and come back and win this game. In fact, West Ham actually hit us with another sucker punch. Moises Caicedo comes on, and you know what? To those people that are criticising criticising Moises Caicedo. What a shit performance. A lot of the people that are actually bantering him, as normal, are the rival fans. When they're coming from Liverpool fans, please don't listen to them. They put down a record, at the time, an English record bid for the same player, and they lost out. This is their opportunity to get something back. Let them have it, those little broke bastards. Do you know what I mean? We're all right over here. But you can see that he was rusty, he was off it even before that challenge. A pass that he made just completely was just off it. Gave away the ball very cheaply, man. So really just summed up our day. But for me, I've got to look at the manager. I thought it was a bit of a cowardly decision to go in with the back five. We've been playing so well with the back four. We really should have gone with Andre Santos, who wasn't even in the squad. He's not even injured, man. Which beggars the question, what are we doing with this guy? Are we going to loan him? Especially the fact that Lavia's come in, we should be thinking about loaning him because that's still a very good player. West Ham, for 30 minutes, had 10 men, and Chelsea still couldn't break that down. Our attack today was shocking. Outside of the first half, it was shocking. It was disjointed. Raheem Sterling, I felt so bad for him, busting a gut to create opportunities, making those cutbacks, but there's no striker in the middle, which brings me on to Nicholas Jackson. Yes, he done his thing for the first goal. Yes, he showed some very, very good attributes today, but he looks to me like a winger more than a striker. Why I say that is because the few games that I've seen him, this guy does like to come in off the left. He does seem more of an inside forward for me, playing in a striker's position. Do we need to sign another striker this window to take the pressure off Nicholas Jackson? Or is it too early and too reactionary to be asking this question? I'm asking this question not because I think he's a bad player, but from the attributes that I'm seeing, he doesn't naturally look like a striker to me. Let me know if you lot agree. As good as Raheem Sterling did, as much as Malo Gusto was trying to put in crosses into dangerous areas, why is the game plan to be spamming in crosses against an aerially dominant West Ham, who are used to playing this kind of football all day long, when we've got a problem of height in our squad? Why are we finding ourselves asking these same questions? This is why I'm looking at the manager, Mauricio Pochettino, here. Surely you cannot continue to be so naive going forward in the season. The next 6 games, they're all winnable games. We've got Luton Town next. I know it's dangerous to be facing newly promoted teams. I'm not taking them for granted, but nothing less than 3 points. And I want to be seeing a back four. Hopefully Caicedo will be ready for this game, because I know that's just a blip. But Caicedo should be ready for the next game. Lavia potentially should be fit, at least to be featuring on the bench. I don't think we're going to see the midfield trio of Enzo, Caicedo and Lavia, people. Don't hold your hopes up, man. We're going to go with the trio with the attacking mid. That's going to be it. We might see this midfield trio that we're asking for few and far between, but that's not dominantly how Mauricio Pochettino plays. So I'm just preparing you. But today was a shambles. It was disgusting. We definitely should have got 3 points today. Matisse was saying, you know, the next 7 games after Liverpool, we should be looking at 21 points. We should be in a healthy position. I agreed with him. But today, we lost our first game. Now we've got 18 points that we should be getting. Will we be getting those? It really comes down to the manager. Will Pochettino grow a spine again and go with the back four that he was using? Because I think we need to do that. We saw some good football being played. We got the best of some of our players. Nicholas Jackson was getting himself in the correct positions. And this is another thing I'm going to say about pre-season, people. It's very dangerous to be hyping players in the pre-season. Pre-season form does not always reflect the Premier League form. And why I say that is because of Nicholas Jackson. Don't put too much expectations on this guy. I'm telling you, people, don't disappoint yourselves. We might be needing to sign another striker sooner rather than later, but let me know your thoughts down there in the comments. In fact, you know what? Before I end this video, I've got to speak about the positives. It wasn't all negative. We did see some positive signs in the first half. Like I said, Raheem Sterling looks like he's coming into form. I thought Malo Gusto was all right today. Wasn't his best game, and he'll probably have better games in the future, but I thought that he was all right today. Outside of that, very few and far between. Very few and far between things to say. Mauricio Pochettino, once again, not impressed with the decisions before the game, during the game. Poor from Pochettino, who I've got very high hopes for, man. But make sure you smash the subscribe button before you go. Give the video a thumbs up and leave your thoughts down there in the comments. I am out. Bless up.